Hello everyone, this is Sarvachan Verma and currently I am working as assistant professor at Ajay Kumargar Engineering College, Ghaziabad, and today I will discuss Python file handling. Okay, now if we're talking about file handling, basically file is a document or the data stored on the permanent storage device which can be read, written or rewrite according to the requirement. Basically, in all types of programming language, file handling, the purpose of file handling is used to store the data in permanent way. Okay. Now, all files are used for permanent storage purpose. When you run a program, it produces an output. But when your program execution process is end, their data disappear because of all data are stored at the random access memory. If you run the program again, it starts with a clean state. This happens because the data execute inside primary memory, which is called random access memory and which is volatile in nature. So if you want to store the data permanently way, you go for the concept of file data structure. In terms of programming language, we can store the data in permanent way by the two way. First one, file handling, and second one, database concept. But database concept is much expensive as compared to file handling. If you want to store the data in a small amount of data, then file data structure is best choice. Okay, because of if we go to store the small amount of data inside the database, so there is a lot of coding and there is a lot of work are required, like database connections, then database execute statements, then you can fire the query. At that time database a driver is required because different technology are used, like if we want to communicate the database with Python technology, it means Python technology is different and database technology is different. In that situation we have required one driver which act as an interface between the two different technology. Okay, so basically if you want to store the data in a small amount of data, or we can say if you want to store the data in permanent way, so in that situation file handling is the best choice. Okay, but if you want to store the bulk amount of data for future reference, in that situation database is the best choice. Okay, so basically file data structure is used to store the data in permanent way. Okay, now in this figure you will see here, this is your Python program. Okay, by this Python program you will interact with external file. This file may be text file, this file may be text file, it may be PDF file, it may be CSV file and any other type of file. Okay, but you interact with your Python code. The purpose of file handling, it's two. First one, we can read the data or we can write the data. Okay, so this pictorial representation show how the Python code will interact with your external file for writing the data, and you can want to read the data, but all activity done by the code. Okay, now in Python basically there is a two types of file. First one is text file and second one is binary file. Okay, if we're talking about text file, basically text file is we can say it is a human understandable form. This is the text file, all data will be readable. Okay, this is a simple example of server.txt node file. Okay, this is considered as a text file. Okay, the second advantage of text file is that a text file store information in ASCII or Unicode character. It means default character coding is ASCII using constant U for Unicode. Okay, Second thing, in text file, each line is terminated by a special character known as end of line character. This end of line character sometimes it is considered as a /n. Okay. So in text file, every line is terminated by the end of line character. And second thing, all the data in the text file will be stored in the form of ASCII code and Unicode. Now, if we're talking about binary file, a binary file contains the data in the form of 0 and 1. Okay. A binary file store information is a same format in which the information is held in memory, like 0 and 1 format. If we're talking about what is the use of binary file, what is the purpose of binary file, so basically binary file are used to store the data like image, video files, audio files, etc. Second and most important thing is that in binary file there is a no delimiter for a line. As compared to text file, there is a delimiter, end of line character. Every line is terminated by the EOL character. Okay. Now, this is very important concept. If you want to work Python coding, if you want to doing Python coding with to handle the external file, these four things are most important. First, we have to understand one by one, then we go again forward. Okay. So first, file handling means first you have to open a file. Okay. There is a lot of built-in functions in Python to open a file. Okay. Then for the purpose of file is maybe two. Either you want to write the data or either you want to read the data from the file. In that situation, these two options are reading from file and writing to files. Then you can also add some data into the file and finally you will close the file. Okay, if we're talking about these three terms, this is the intention, how you want to, what is the purpose inside to opening a file. Either you want to read the data, either you want to write the data, or either you want to append the data. And finally, this is the closing the file. First and fifth step are mandatory, and second, third and fourth options are optional. Whether you want to open the file in which mode. Okay. Now, opening and closing a file. Okay. In order to work with the file in Python provide one built-in function. This is called the open function. What is the syntax of open function is file object. This is the file object. This is the file object. Open is the built-in function. Open is the built-in function. File name, comma, access mode. Access mode. Okay. You will see here, open is the built-in function in Python which is used to open a file, and it takes two arguments of a string type. First one is file name and what is the access mode. What is the intention behind this for opening a file? Okay. And file object is an object which is point to the particular file. Okay. You will see here inside this statement, syntax of open function, this is the file name and this is the access mode. Okay. But these 2 points, point 1 and point 2 are same because of by default access mode is read mode in Python. When this statement is successfully executed by the Python interpreter, this file object f point to a particular file. All the operations, what is the operations? What are the operations? Operations may be read, operation may be write, operation may be append. or are done with the help of file objects. Okay. Now, this is the syntax if you want to, because previous syntax is open a file and search a file in the current working directory, which is the default directory of a where our Python 360 and version are installed. Okay. But if we're talking about if you want to open the file in another directory, so this is the syntax in Python. You can give directory name, then this is the folder name. Inside this folder, I have one file name. Okay. After every directory name and folder name must be separated by double backward slash. Okay. So this is the syntax to open a file inside the different directory. It means that file is present in particular directory. Okay. This is the syntax. Now, a list of the different modes of opening a file. You will see here there is a lot of access modes are there. First of, if we are talking about this mode, R. Okay. This mode is used to open a file in read mode. Okay. Or this is considered as a default mode. Second thing, RB. Opening a file for reading only in binary format. It means if you want to read the data, if you want to read some data in the binary file, then you must give the access modifier as RB. Okay. Or this is the default mode for binary file. Okay. If we're talking about open a file for both reading and writing, this file pointer will be at the beginning of the file. What is the meaning of file pointer? If we're talking about, suppose this is my text file and I am writing by this line. Okay. Now the file pointer point to this line, this point. Okay. This is the file pointer. If you want to open a file in this mode, then the file pointer will be placed at the beginning of the file. Okay. So these all are the access mode which are used while opening a file in Python. Again, these are the modes like W, B plus, A, AB, A is used to open a file in append mode. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of file handler? Okay. In this code, you will see here F is act as a file handler. In second line, I am going to print the file object. When this line will be executed and this line will be executed, immediately I will get the, because of file object contain the name of the file, what is the mode of file, and what is the encoding of a particular file. Okay. This is the purpose of file, because file handle contain the three information. File object contain the three information. First one is name of the file, mode in which the particular file will be open. In this syntax, you will see here access mode is missing, but by default access mode is read mode. Okay. Similarly, this is the encoding. Encoding means CP1252 means known as window 1250, or simply it is treated as a character set. It means this file will be encoded in this following character set. Okay. Now, if you want to open a file and that file is not exist in current working directory as well as in secondary directory. So if file not exist in a current working directory, so Python raised an error. What is the error? No such file or directory consider as a abc123.txt, because I am going to open the file abc.txt. If this file is not in a current working directory, in that situation Python immediately raised an error. No such file or directory found. But if I am open this same file in writing mode, in that situation, if file is not present in the current working directory, then by default this file will be created if this file is not present inside the current working directory. Okay, because for reading the file, I intention that that file will be present inside the directory. While writing the data into the file, there is no need. If file is not exist inside the current working directory, then that file will be created. Now, various properties of file objects, like if open function, open is a built-in function, is successfully and executed and file objects created, we can retrieve various details. What are the various details? Like name, mode, closed, whether the file is closed or not, whether the file is readable, whether the file is writable. All such entries we can access with the help of different attributes. You will see here, inside this, you will see here, this is the file object f. With the file object f, I am going to use the attribute name. This is the name. Okay, this is the name. This attribute we can access the mode. Okay, this is the true and false. Readable function return the true or false, whether the file is readable or not. And second one is file is closed or not. Finally, I am going to close the file. I am going to close the file. Immediately I again call this attribute. At this situation, I will return false. And if file is closed by this line, immediately I will get true. File is closed. What is the name of the file? abc.txt. What is the name of the file? Is abc.txt. What is the mode of this file? File is mode in the reading mode. Whether the file is readable? Yes, true, file is readable. Then again false, and finally we will get true. We will see here. Okay, output of the previous code. Okay, so these are the some file. We can access the details by these attributes of a particular file. Okay, now note, readable function return false because file is open in write mode. You will see here in this example, I am opening the same file in the writing mode. Now I am calling this function whether the file is readable or not. You will see here it will return false. Basically, these attributes are used to get the informations about the opening a file, okay, about the opened file. Okay. Now, most important concept first is reading data from the file. Okay. If we're talking about reading the data from the file, Python provide three functions. First one is read line, and third one is read lines. Okay, Python provide three functions which are used to read the data from the file. Okay, first one is read function. Basically, read functions has two syntax. First one is file object dot read. It is used to read the entire data of the file. Okay, and second syntax, it is the size. Size specify the number of bytes to be read from the file. If you want to read the entire content of the file, then in that situation you will go for first syntax. If you want to read some amount of byte from the file, that in that situation you have to go for second syntax. Okay, but the return type of read function is string type. It means it will return entire the data of the file in the form of string. Okay. Now you will see here, suppose we have a one file, the name of the file is textdata.txt. Okay. Inside this notepad file, inside this text file, the content is hello, how are you, and third line contain welcome to Python programming. Okay. I want to read whole data. I want to read whole data from the file. It is simple, very simple. See, file object dot read. Okay, you will see here inside this piece of code, you will see here I have opened one file because my intention is to read the data from the file. So I have opened the file mode is read mode. I told earlier because of I have already told the by default reading mode is access mode is reading mode. But it is a good programming practice. Always you give the intentions with the help of access mode. What is the intentions of your while opening the file? Okay. Now I am going to read the read function I will use with the help of file object f. Okay. Then entire content of the file will be assigned to the line variable. Now the line is become as a string type because read function return the data in the form of string. Now I am going to print the console line data on the console. You will see here all data will be printed. As you see here in previous slide, you will see here the text file contain the data, this data, hello, how are you, welcome to Python programming. After this piece of code will be executed, immediately you will get all the file content data. Okay. In next situation, you will see here, suppose you want to print the only 5 byte. Okay. So because of in the form of a string, one character can contain the 1 byte. Okay. So you will see here, I have opened a file in the reading mode. I have give the read function and the amount of reading is 5 byte. So all file read. Okay. And that situation, that read data will be stored inside the variable line, and finally I am closing the file. You will see here I am read only 5 byte from the files. Okay. So I have discussed the two syntax of read function. Okay. Thank you so much. In next class I will discuss read line and read line functions. Thank you so much.